All right, get ready because today we're going deep on microcrystalline cellulose. You might be thinking, cellulose! That's like paper, right? And yeah, you're not totally off, but trust me, this stuff is way more interesting than it sounds.
It really is. It's one of those ingredients that I bet you've never even heard of, but I'd also bet it's probably in your medicine cabinet right now, your pantry, maybe even your bathroom.
You're probably right about that. And that's why we're taking a look at this Vivion article today. They're all about how incredible microcrystalline cellulose, or MCC, is for companies that are making products in bulk. So let's just start with the basics. What exactly is this magical powder?
Okay, so picture this. You've got a plant, you strip it down to its most basic building blocks, and you're left with cellulose.
Hmm.
The stuff that gives plants their structure.
Mm.
NCC is basically just that purified cellulose that we grind down into a superfine powder.
Okay, that makes sense. But why go through all that trouble just to turn plants into powder?
Because this powder, it's like a formulation superhero. It's like the Swiss Army knife of ingredients.
Hmm.
And the Vivian article really highlights just how much bulk manufacturers depend on it.
Yeah, I'm seeing that here. It looks like MCC plays a ton of different roles when it comes to supplements.
Absolutely. It can bulk up a tiny pill, bind ingredients together, stabilize a formula so it doesn't separate out, and it can even help powders flow smoothly in manufacturing.
Wow, so it really does do it all. I'm reading here that it can even control moisture, prevent clumping. So does that mean, like, no more rock hard protein powder?
You got it. That's a huge plus for manufacturers and consumers. It helps to make sure what you're buying stays fresh and potent for way longer, whether that's a bottle of vitamins or a tub of protein powder.
That's definitely something I can appreciate, especially when it comes to my supplements. But hold on, I'm seeing here that MCC isn't just for pills and capsules, is that right? It's in food, cosmetics, even industrial stuff.
That's right. I mean, think about it. If it can stop your protein powder from clumping, imagine what it can do for a creamy soup or a smooth lotion.
Okay, that is super interesting. We're talking about something that's in my supplements and my pantry. Okay, I have to know more.
Well, one of the most interesting things is that even though it's in so many products, it has a really strong safety record.
That's good to know. I'm always a little, I don't know, wary of ingredients I've never even heard of.
I think everyone is, but you can relax knowing that MCC has been given the green light by all the major regulatory bodies, the FDA, the EFSA, Health Canada. They've all reviewed the research and agree that it's generally recognized as safe.
Okay, so this GRAS label I'm seeing in the article, that means that MCC has a long history of safe use.
Exactly. It's not some brand new, untested ingredient. And for people who are environmentally conscious, it's also biodegradable and made from renewable resources.
Okay, so it's safe, it's effective, and it's sustainable. We're checking all the boxes here.
Yeah. And the benefits don't stop there. For bulk manufacturers especially, MCC is kind of a game changer. Think about all the advantages we've already talked about. Consistency, flowability, the extended shelf life. All of those things mean huge cost savings and better efficiency.
So you're saying that for companies making thousands or even millions of products, all those little benefits add up really quickly.
You got it. Imagine you're a supplement company that's making tablets. MCC is going to ensure that every single tablet has the exact same amount of the active ingredient. That guarantees quality and potency across the board.
That makes total sense. Consistency is definitely key, especially when we're talking about like medication.
Exactly. And then you add in smoother production runs, less waste, products that stay fresh longer. You can see why bulk manufacturers love this stuff.
I'm not gonna lie, this is making me look at those ingredient labels in a whole new light.
It's like this whole hidden world, right?
Yeah.
And MCC is the perfect example of how something so tiny can have such a huge impact.
It really is. I'm totally hooked now. I need to know more about exactly how MCC works in all these different products.
Let's do it. In part 2, we'll take a closer look at some specific examples. From tablets and capsules to low-calorie foods, even cosmetics.
Okay, so we've definitely established that microcrystalline cellulose is a pretty big deal. But I'm really curious, like, how does it actually work in all these different applications that the Vivian article is talking about?
Well, let's start simple and think about a tablet. Like a vitamin or a pain reliever.
Okay, yeah, those are a good example. I mean, how do they get all that stuff packed into those little pills?
Well, that's where MCC comes in. Remember we talked about it being like a binder? It's what helps to hold all of those active ingredients together, gives the tablet its structure. Without it, those tablets would probably crumble into powder before you could even swallow them.
So it's literally like the glue that holds everything together.
Exactly. And it doesn't stop there. MCC actually plays a big part in how that tablet breaks down, and releases the active ingredients once you swallow it.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. You wouldn't want it all just dissolving in your stomach right away.
Exactly, and that's another thing that MCC helps control, the release rate of the ingredients.
Whoa. Okay, so MCC is like a timed release mechanism. That's
Uh,
pretty cool. What about capsules, though? They seem like they're totally different than tablets.
they are different, but MCC is still just as important there. Think about filling a capsule with a powdered ingredient, right? You need that powder to flow smoothly and evenly to make sure each capsule has the right dose.
Oh, right. Yeah. So no half-empty capsules or capsules overflowing with powder. Consistency is key.
Exactly, and MCC, being the flow agent that it is, helps make that happen.
This is really making me realize just how much goes into making even the simplest products. It's not just about supplements, right? What about food? The Vivion article mentioned that MCC is used a lot in low-calorie foods. How does that work?
Yeah, so one of the challenges with low-calorie foods is that they often just don't have the same texture and mouthfeel as their full-calorie versions.
Right, because they're essentially taking ingredients out,
Yeah.
which can leave the food feeling like thin or watery.
Exactly, and that's where MCC comes in again.
Yeah.
It can add some substance, create that satisfying texture, but without adding all the calories.
So it's like tricking your taste buds into thinking there's more there than there actually is.
You could say that. It creates a more enjoyable experience without sacrificing the low-calorie goal.
It's kind of amazing that MCC seems to have a solution for so many different formulation problems. Are there any other, like, surprising applications that you can think of?
Well, absolutely. Remember, we mentioned cosmetics. MCC is actually used as a thickener, a stabilizer, even a mild abrasive in certain products.
Wait, hold on. So it could be in my lotion, my toothpaste, and who knows what else. My mind is blown right now.
And we're really just scratching the surface here. The Vivian article also talks about industrial applications. Stuff like paper coatings, paints, even building materials.
Whoa, it's honestly amazing how versatile one ingredient can be.
It really is. It's pretty incredible how something that comes from simple plant fibers can be so useful in so many different industries. And you never know what the future holds, right?
Yeah.
There could be tons more uses for MCC that we haven't even thought of yet.
Okay, so we've really explored the what and the how of MCC, but I'm kind of curious about the bigger picture now. What does the use of this ingredient actually mean for the world? I mean, economically and environmentally?
Yeah, that's a great question. And that's actually a perfect lead into our final part. In part 3, we're going to take a step back and look at those bigger implications of MCC's popularity. The economic impact, environmental considerations, and we'll talk about what it all means going forward.
Okay, so we've learned a lot about microcrystalline cellulose already in this deep dive. We've talked about what it is, how it's made, even how incredibly versatile it is in, well, everything from supplements to cosmetics.
Yeah, and we've even touched on how it's good for manufacturers, better efficiency and cost savings, things like that.
Right, exactly. But now I'm thinking about like the even bigger picture, what does using an ingredient like this actually mean for the world? I mean, economically, A&D, environmentally.
That's a great question. You might be surprised to know that MCC is actually huge EE in the global excipient market. We're talking like billions of dollars here.
Excipient. Now remind me, that's the term for all those inactive ingredients that help the active ingredients work better, right?
Exactly. And as the demand for pharmaceuticals and supplements and processed foods keeps growing, the need for these excipients, these MCCs, grows right along with it.
So it's not even just about the final products, right? There's a whole other industry built around these, what did you call them, behind the scenes ingredients?
It really is. And that whole industry creates jobs, it drives innovation, it contributes so much to economies all over the world.
Wow, it's like this, I don't know, hidden economic engine
It is.
quietly powering all these other industries.
Yeah, and it's not all about economics either. We have to think about the environment too. Remember, MCC is biodegradable, and it all comes from those renewable plant fibers.
Right, yeah, we talked about that. Honestly, in a world that's so focused on sustainability these days, that just seems like a huge plus.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, compared to some synthetic excipients,
Yeah.
MCC has a much, much smaller impact on the environment. It's just a more sustainable choice, from start to finish.
So, okay, it's good for us, it's good for business. Andy, it's good for the planet. I like it. A win-win-win.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as consumers start to become more and more aware of the impact that their choices have, well, we can expect to see even more demand for products that are using sustainable ingredients like MCC.
I see what you mean. It's like this ripple effect, right? So informed consumers, they drive the demand, which pushes manufacturers to use these more sustainable ingredients,
Yeah.
which then further reinforces those initial consumer choices.
It all comes back around.
I like it. It just highlights how interconnected everything really is, from the basic raw materials to how things are made, the final product, and then us, the consumers. Every choice we make, it really does have some kind of impact.
It does.
Honestly, this whole deep dive has really opened my eyes to just how complex the products we use every single day really are. I never would have thought that something like microcrystalline cellulose could be this important.
I know, right? That's what's so cool about it. There's always so much happening behind the scenes that, let's be honest, we just kind of take for granted. But when you take the time to really learn about this stuff, it's amazing to see how it all fits together.
You're totally right. I feel like I have, I don't know, a whole new appreciation for all the the science and the ingenuity that goes into creating the things we use and rely on every single day.
It's pretty cool. And who even knows what the future holds for MCC, right? As more research is done, we could see even more uses and benefits. It's something to keep an eye on, for sure.
It definitely is, I think it's safe to say that we've both learned a lot about microcrystalline cellulose today. We went from, this mysterious ingredient to something that I'm honestly really excited about.
Me too. It's been great diving into this with you. Just remember, curiosity is key. There's always something new to discover out there, even in the most unexpected
You
places.
got that right. Well, thanks for joining me on this deep dive into the world of microcrystalline cellulose. Until next time, stay curious.